Well, good evening, Trekkies and Trekkers around the globe. It's Thursday, February 19th, 2026. Welcome to episode 673. I am experiencing some technical difficulties on my end, in case you hadn't noticed. My internet is going in and out and in and out and in and out. So I don't know why, but we're going to persevere. We're going to press ahead. Damn the torpedoes, full steam ahead. Anyways, without any further ado, on tonight's podcast, we're going to be talking about last week's episode of Starfleet Academy, which was episode 5, series Acclamation Mill. Bam. Okay, we're a little bit behind because we had Adam Nimoy out, but that's okay. We'll survive. On March 2nd at 8:30, we're going to have with us live on the show, rescheduled, Gabrielle Ruiz is going to be with us, Talin from Star Trek Lower Decks. Mark your calendars and join us for that. We also have tonight our fan shout-outs where we go around the world and we thank fans just like you out there for supporting our podcast. We have our fan reactions, our episode scores, what actors do you share a birthday with on our sci-fi birthdays, and we have some Star Trek news, what's going on around the Star Trek universe. But before we dive into all of that, let me go around and introduce my awesome Trek experts. Let's start off with Paul. He's our toy guy. He's out in Oregon. How you doing, Paul?
Doing all right. Ready for fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Our Cisco-sode, as we want to call it. And also from Portland, we have Eric. How you doing tonight, Eric?
I'm doing really good. Super excited to talk about this episode. Missing V, with only 5 of us, it feels like we're only 5-6 of the way there, but I guess we'll have to make it happen.
Yeah, we're a testosterone bunch tonight. And also from Portland, we have David with us. Welcome to the show, David.
Hey, I agree with everybody. We should all have fun tonight. And freeze.
And freeze. We'll freeze up. And not from Portland, but from Las Vegas, we have our very own Charles. How you doing tonight, Charles?
I'm doing all right, trying to deal with the crazy weather. Third storm of leftovers from California. Lots of rain, snow in the mountains.
Yeah, we're expecting 6 to 8 inches of snow tonight. I'm so excited. That groundhog, I want to run him over. At any rate, uh, I want to dive right in and get right to the show here. If you can get over to our Facebook page, Trek Talking and Beyond, and at the top you'll see a pinned page, Live Long and Prosper, asking where you're listening from. All you need to do is go there, tell us where you're listening from, leave some emojis, lots of dancing emojis, gets my attention. Look for a heart from yours truly, Uncle Jim, and that means that you are going to be featured in a fan shout out. So, Eric, would you like to get us started tonight?
Would I ever? Our first fan shout out this week goes out to Michael Kuguryukas, who is from Athens, Greece, one of my personal favorite cities on the planet. Man, it's amazing how from anywhere in the city you can see the Acropolis. Like the entire city is kind of organized around this one place. Michael says resistance is futile. Well, but is it, Michael? Anyway, thanks for saying hi from Athens, Greece. Also saying hello to us this week is John Vandenbroek, who is hailing from Torquay in England. Live long and prosper, everyone. Sending us that amazing emoji. Hand symbol, Vulcan hand symbol. Thanks, John, for saying hi to us. Also saying hello this week is Anja Schmitz from Dusseldorf in Germany. Hi, Anja. Thanks for saying hello to us. And last but not least on my list is Amin Benamar, who is hailing from Drome in Provincale. How do you say that? Help me.
Provençal.
Thank you. I knew you would know that. Thank you very much, Paul. That's in France, of course. Amin. Thank you so much for saying hello to us from France. And because we are missing V this week, Charles is going to be covering her hellos. So, Charles, I pass this megaphone on to you.
Thank you, Eric. And I'm not sure how this one got onto her list. Welcome to Ter Escapoli Lopez from Mexico. Welcome. Welcome, Chris Besaw. I myself from Lower Sackville, Nova Scotia, out in the colder part of Canada. Welcome, Tara Thames from Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome. Sorry about that. Wayne Royal. I'm in the Nahala Mountains in western Northern Carolina, close to Tennessee, Georgia, and South Carolina. Welcome, Dwayne. Welcome, Faith Marie Longo. San Diego, California, second generation. My mother was part of the letter writing campaign that started by Boj and John Trimble to save TOS. Welcome, Faith. Welcome, Wayne Rosencrantz. Outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Watch every episode of TOS as a high schooler and haven't missed an episode of the following shows. Second generation, Worcester, Massachusetts. Doing her bit to keep the legacy going. Welcome, James W. Smith from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, second generation. Too young for the original, but definitely everything else, starting with Star Trek, the animated series. And last on my list, welcome, Mary Easley Smith from Mississippi. Welcome all, and I'll pass this megaphone over to Paul.
Thank you, Charles. Appreciate it, sir. First of all, let's say hello to our friend Nick Rush, who is sending us greetings from Pontyclun in South Wales in the United Kingdom, a magical land where all kinds of enchantments are rumored to have taken place throughout time. Wales, an amazing country, to be sure. You got to get behind any municipality that has a dragon on its flag. So I think that's pretty awesome. Live long and prosper to you, Nick Rush. In beautiful Napoli, Naples, Valentina Orellana is saying hello to us. Valentina, it's great to know that there are so many Star Trek fans sprinkled throughout Europe, in particular in your wonderful country. So that is wonderful news. Hello to Danilo Gajic in Sombor, Serbia. Danilo Gajic, great to hear from you. Thanks for being a fan and being a Star Trek enthusiast. And let's say also hello in beautiful La Plata, Argentina, and Alia Veronica de Gomuccio. I'm probably giving it an unnecessary Italian flavor. I'm going to blame Valentina's overflow for that one there. But anyhow, Argentina, magnificent country, and wonderful to know that there are a triple threat of Star Trek fans there, given all those icons and emojis. And so great to hear from you. Wonderful always to see that there are Star Trek fans everywhere on the globe. As disparate as we may seem sometimes, there's a lot that we have in common, which is absolutely fantastic. So thanks, global citizens. On to you, Uncle Jim.
Why, thank you so much, Paul. I want to start off by saying thank you so much to top fan Kirk P. DeCosta, who's listening to us in Nebraska. Thank you, Kirk, and thank you for being a top fan. We also want to say hello and thank you to Bill Busha, who's in Appleton, Wisconsin, Chris Brown, who's in Michigan, and another top fan, Joyce L. Stanfield, who's in Manhattan, New York City. And that, my friends, wraps up our fan shout outs for this week. If you'd like to be featured in a fan shout out, please head over to Trek Talk and Beyond and leave us a little message at the pinned post. Tell us where you're from. Or I'll tell you what, you can head over to trektalking.com and there's a little green microphone in the bottom corner. You can click on that and you can record us a message and we will play it on the next podcast. So if you're too shy to go to Facebook, go to trektalking.com and you can tell us how great Eric's hair looks, for instance, or the wonderful T-shirt that Charles is wearing. Anything you want to mention, you can record a message for us, and we definitely will play it on the very next show. So please do that. All right, guys. So we're going to be talking about Starfleet Academy Episode 5 series Acclamation Mill, and we're going to have Charles dive right in here and give us a little bit of cadet training before we get started. So take it away, Charles.
Oh, thank you, Uncle Jim. As cadet training is stuff we can tie into other Star Trek or sci-fi series to this episode. And why do I say sci-fi? Because one of the first things that popped into my mind This one actually tied to the Mork and Mindy series from 78 to 82. As Mork from Ork always reported back to his planet, as Sam is reporting back to her people. One incident I did find last minute I've forgotten about, TNG's Tapestry, Season 6, Episode 15, where we find out why Picard has the artificial heart and the little fight he got back when he was in Starfleet Academy. And then the rest of these all referenced in the DS9, where you can learn more about Commander and Captain Benjamin Sisko, the emissary. We learn a lot about Jake Sisko. We learn a lot about Dax. And when we visit the little museum there, you see a few references to DS9 and the series, the baseball, the orb that Sam visits, the typewriter, and a little discussion with Cassidy when they talk about the relationship they had. So this series, you pretty much have to go back to a lot of DS9 to get a lot of the history to it. I think Paul would love to talk about what happened in this episode.
Again, folks, we are talking about episode 5 of the first season of Starfleet Academy on here. And in this particular episode, it's named after one of the characters, the first photonic member of Starfleet Academy, Ceres Acclamation Mill, or Sam, as she's more personally known. We don't really know exactly what that means or stands for yet, but we're getting our first insight into all of these different characters in a series of episodes here, and this one really gives us a little bit more information about Sam, and it's a journey of her self-discovery and awareness, while it's kind of dovetailing with her discovery about the legacy of the emissary of Commander Benjamin Sisko from Deep Space Nine, because she's aligning that with herself being an emissary for her people as well, and making those kind of correlations there. So I thought this is a terrific episode. It is really, as Charles intimated, this is a love letter to Deep Space Nine. Very often it can be a bit of a redheaded stepchild, if you will. It's forgotten, it seems, all too often, and people have not become as familiar with it as they could be with, say, Next Gen, for example. But it's really, really a beautifully written and extremely affectionate touchstone to the series here. Sam is working to understand her identity as a holographic or photonic being, and her general purpose has been to be an emissary for the creators of her homeworld, the Cask, right? She becomes, in this episode, very quickly obsessed with the mystery of Benjamin Sisko's disappearance during the Dominion War. There's a lot of callbacks to Deep Space Nine. Who I took to be a Cardassian professor, Ela, reveals down the road towards the series end. I'm sorry, folks, got to put this spoiler in. It's kind of a big one, that she is the current host of the Dax Symbiont and helps Sam by sharing a book written by Jake Sisko. And it's really great. So we learn by her studying about Sisko's disappearance. And what's great is I liked this, and I'm sure Eric's going to have a lot of thoughts on this because I know Eric's steeped in Deep Space Nine lore and in particular some of the adjacent comics. They don't really tell you or give you a definitive answer of the mystery of Benjamin Sisko, and I really like that. The fact that they kept a lot of that mystery alive, to me, that seemed really appropriate. There is a secondary plot about Chancellor Kelrek having a complete Neil Simon nervous breakdown trying to prepare for this complex alien ritual to secure peace with some other equivalent person from another spacefaring species, right? And they do this dress rehearsal dinner with Jet Reno and the Doctor that just devolves into complete nonsense. Very funny stuff there, but I don't didn't find that quite as rich and satisfying as the main plot with Sam, which was wonderful. I think a lot of the themes we discovered in this episode were finding your own path, in contrast with what other people may expect of you. Um, Dealing with the expectations of your parents and those who created you, and the importance of the individual experience. I thought really, really beautifully done. This episode was written by Star Trek alumnus Tawny Newsome, who also plays that Dax Cardassian instructor there, of course, veteran of Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds. And she did a wonderful job of putting the screenplay together. I thought it was very fresh, inventive. Happy to say more about that later, but I just thought this was a really interesting show. I think that the actress who plays Sam has been one of those ones who's just gotten a lot of resistance, I think, initially from some of the fan quarters, not being open to fresh faces. And I just thought she was absolutely charming in this episode, and really a breath of fresh air and a real delight, and helped put a fresh face for anybody who sort of felt like an outsider going into an academic or work environment for the first time. I thought she did a great job of humanizing that, and for somebody who's not a human being character, who's photonic, if you will, I thought she was just enchanting and quite relatable. So for me, a really interesting episode. What do others think? How do we want to go through this here next, folks?
Do we do fan
Well,
ratings first, Jim?
first we have to have every week on our Facebook page, Trek Talking and Beyond, on Friday, which will be tomorrow. I'll post a post asking you guys, our fans, to score the episode on a score of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best. And if you want to share your opinion, why you liked it, why you didn't, please do that. And we will definitely read those comments on the show. And we're going to have Eric talk about that right now. So take it away, Eric.
Yes, Michael Wilson said 11 out of 10, even though I'm tempted to give it a Deep Space 9 out of 10. So I tell you what, Michael, we'll make it 10 out of 10 and put it in the numbers. Thank you very much. Jeff Massey gave it a 9.5 out of 10. They gave Sirach Lofton, Avery Brooks, Jobs Paid a nice tribute. I'm not sure what he means. I think they're just saying a nice tribute to Avery Brooks. Nice to have Sirach Lofton there. And they used the theme, the DS9 theme, during the credits. Was a little ticked that they had to use a motorcycle outfit in place of the DS9 uniforms, and the weak excuse for why they didn't use Brooks' face. But that was probably just a financial issue. But other than that, it was great. So Jeff Massey is probably referencing that we don't see Avery Brooks' face at all, and that is for licensing and royalty issues, as far as I understand. So thanks, Jeff.
He's also retired from acting.
Completely.
As well. He's
Completely.
made that very clear.
And I think people are respecting his wishes right now, which I think is awesome. James M. Johnson gave it an 8. Story was really nice homage to Cisco and DS9. Only thing keeping it from a 10 is too much silliness with the Sim character. It was a little over the top. Thanks, James. Rick Carter gave it an 8.5. It would have been higher had we seen images of Avery Brooks in addition to hearing his voice, but I laughed through most of the episode. Loved the Edgar Wright, Scott Pilgrim vibes. They then cried seeing Sirach Lofton, and during Sam's understanding and the reveal about Tawny Newsome's character. Wow. Thanks, Rick. Jordan Hawk said, I have to give it a 10 for the nostalgia. This is a version of Star Trek that is not claiming to be anything but what it really is. It's giving us a glimpse into young adults and how they would have lived it out. This feels like the original series all grown up. I love the playfulness and the humor. I truly believe this is how my Star Trek Academy experience would have went. I definitely would have put those plants in the military school, LOL. Thanks, Jordan. I probably would have too. Patricia Ann Green, 11 out of 10. Average down to 10. Loved it, especially Sirach, the Avery Brooks VO, and the DS9 theme outro. Character development is great. I'm looking forward to getting to know more of the characters. This is not the Star Trek that I grew up with, adult officers managing crisis in space, already trained and experienced. This Star Trek is showing how those officers developed. Some of these characters will go on to be legends in their lifetimes. We get to see the beginnings. The recovery from the burn and the following isolation looks hopeful. And isn't that what Star Trek is about? Hope for the future. Awesome. That was a great review, Patricia. Thanks. Cliff Dickinson gave it an 8. I love Starfleet Academy. I don't care what others think. I think it's brilliant. I'm in my 40s, grew up with the TNG and Voyager being my favorite Trek. This one is great. And Keith Danforth has a lot to say. I would say maybe a 6.5 out of 10. The overall theme and execution surrounding the topic of the Cisco of Bajor was amazing, and I could definitely see that Tawny Newsome writing this episode knew the DS9 source material and cadence for playing her role in it, as well as driving that story between Cisco and Sam. The addition of Jake as well was an amazing touch, but the way the whole episode was then wrapped in this girly pop modern Life of Me presentation, along with an extremely odd and somewhat out of place B story with the adults, threw off what could have been a much more tighter and authentic old Trek experience. Instead of doing all those silly bits, I would have liked to have seen Sam actually visit Bajor, maybe travel through the wormhole and try to contact the beings there herself, maybe meet other living descendants of the crew. There were some opportunities there to make it a very classic Trek dilemma mystery that still fit the look and feel of this series with the students. That was a great review, Keith. Thank you very much. Ian McMurray gave it a 9. The writing continues to impress. The ode to DS9 was long overdue. The more I watch this show, the more I like it. And last but not least, Greg Gebhardt said 10 with 3 exclamation points. Let Tawny write more episodes. 3 exclamation points. Been writing since 1978 with TOS reruns. This is a great show. Oh, been watching since 1978 with TOS reruns. This is a great show. Thanks, Greg. That gives us this week, guys, a combined fan score of 8.3, and I will say some very thorough and quite thoughtful reviews. So very nice. Yeah.
All right. So who wants to be our engineer? Who wants to get us started tonight?
I can get started. We'll sort of bookend this. So this was my absolute favorite episode of the season. So first and foremost, it does come out of the gate pretty hot and heavy with the graphics and the sort of fourth wall breaking style that it uses. It's almost like Sam is shooting a promo video that she's going to show to somebody else later about what Starfleet Academy is about. And because she's in college and because it has the whole show kind of has that college vibe, I didn't mind that one bit. And I actually thought it was cute. And I agree with, I think it was Paul who said that Carice Brooks is freaking, not only is she adorable, but she's an amazing actress in this one. And I think she really shows her range, how she kind of like does a bunch of different things here. So just loved the beginning and it was okay with me. The idea that she's on this journey of self-exploration was very appealing to me as well. Self-exploration, though not necessarily being the Starfleet Academy part of it, but more of the, how do I interact with these people? The not the nuts and bolts of the Academy, but more like the social interactions, learning about human beings and that kind of stuff. I will say I found the aliens, like her makers, I don't know why they had to use this kind of like menacing voice for them. It felt like at any moment they were going to flip and be evil or something. I don't know. So anyway, a little too much technology thrown into the makers' interactions things with the sound processing and stuff. Would have just liked to seen that kind of brought down a little bit. But okay, so specifically the B story, I guess some people brought up the dinner thing. That one was kind of in the grand scheme of things unnecessary, but I think that Star Trek always does its best when it has at least a couple of storylines going, and it didn't feel to me like the Sam one had enough. Like you want to be able to break away from her and tell different stories for a moment. And we get a little bit of that with some of the characters, but mostly this is a Sam episode and then the adult story episode with the practice dinner thing going on. Okay, let me see. Checking out my notes here. I don't want to talk about everything. One thing so I love seeing, of course, Jake Sisko. It was great to see Sirach Lofton brought back. Everybody's in agreement there. I thought it was cool to kind of understand that the recording of him that was made is the latest thing that we have. It was actually made post Picard. So it was made in like 24 something. So Sirach Lofton is now, Jake Sisko is now the thing that bridges closest to our 32nd century from Picard, which I just think is kind of a neat little thing. How, Star Trek has chosen to kind of jump ahead and then fill in the timeline later. I expect we'll kind of continue as the years go by to sort of see the rest of that timeline filled in. And then I'll just say the reveal at the end with the Tawny Newsome is a Dax. I just thought it was great. I did think that Tawny's makeup was kind of heavy and sort of a little bit distracting, but I think that they kind of had to do that since she was already another character on Star Trek. It's like, when they give Jeffrey Combs a different character, they throw him in some kind of heavy makeup to sort of allow him to act his way out of that. So nice to see a Trill. Nice to see another kind of what I took to be a mixed race character. She looks Cardassian, but her features are really softened, so I'm assuming there's kind of like a mixture of different races going on in there, which is the vision that Star Trek is kind of showing in this 32nd century world, right? We've seen very few. Jaden may be pure Klingon, I think, but most people we see are of mixed race, which I think is kind of mirroring what we see in our world right now, which of course all good science fiction does. So there's probably more that I could say about this episode, but I'm going to let it be there. I'll just say I absolutely loved it. It had a good rhythm to me. It was 58-minute runtime, which feels long, but all of these episodes have kind of been a little bit longer, and it feels like there's enough going on in the stories to like fill my attention for that full 58 minutes. So it doesn't really matter to me that it's that long. So this is my favorite episode all season, so I'm just going to give this one a 10 out of 10.
A Deep Space 10, as one of our fans said.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll kind of let others talk about some of the Deep Space Nine stuff that has already been brought up. It's that the homages to Deep Space Nine here are amazing, right? Especially if you're a fan. So yeah, who wants it next?
David, you want to jump in here?
Hello. Yeah. Sure, I can jump in. Yeah. So, Deep Space Nine, as you all know, is my favorite series. This particular episode, trying to pay the homage, I did enjoy seeing a lot of the different, like Captain Sisko's uniform, a lot of his, like, the baseball that he had, all the other different types of relics of that time period that they had in the museum. However, there was one piece of museum artifact that I thought was kind of weird that they put in, was a typewriter. I was like, was that something that Ben actually did, or is that something that he was doing in his mind? Because I thought that was like in his actual
Well,
mind.
it was in his mind, but listen, it's kind of like the inner light, right? Like
Yeah.
Picard learned how to play the flute in his mind or in this like other reality or whatever world, right? So I think it's like that. Like Cisco came back from the Benny. I always want to say Benny Hill. What's his name? Benny. Darn it! From that, from Far Beyond the Stars, from that
Yeah.
episode. And then I would assume that he went to the antique shop and bought himself a typewriter, like that model of typewriter, right? As like a memory piece.
No, I could see how that works. Yeah. So to me, that kind of took me out a little bit, but it brought me back in again as they were kind of like exploring, like how Paul mentioned, they didn't fully explain what happened to Benjamin Sisko. Like it was kept a mystery, which I actually appreciated that too, and I actually liked that. So even though his Avery Brooks' face was like covered up in a lot of different places, I kind of don't understand why they did that, but at the same time, I know that he's retired and he probably has a lot of rights to his face to be on the show and stuff. So to me, I respect that. But to me, though, this particular episode, there was a lot of different scenes that really didn't feel like it belonged in the episode, like that whole bars scene where it was just like he was programming her to get drunk, and I'm like, okay, it was just a little strange for me. That whole bar sequence just felt a little out of place for me. But going through the whole process of like figuring out like the figuring out the uh Sam, what's her name again? What do they
Sears
call her?
Acclamation Mill.
That
Sam. No.
uh, the fact that she was an emissary kind of made me a little intrigued about her character, because now they can explore that further. And it was just like the idea of her creators apparently, who I actually thought were humans who created her, because she looks human. And I thought she was just a hologram, but I guess she's a different version of type of a hologram.
So, David, in my opinion, they did a poor job up until now explaining this. So it wasn't until
Okay.
this episode that I feel like I fully understood like what her deal was. So
Yeah.
Some other race out there in the galaxy created photonic beings who then rebelled against that race and went out and did their own thing. And so
Yeah.
now those photonic beings that rebelled against their organic makers have made other photonic beings, and that's what Sam is.
So
Sam
they
is
just made her
their
look
emissary
human because they put her in
because she's
human.
emissary to Starfleet, and Starfleet is like
Yeah,
mixed race, but like mostly humanoid,
exactly.
right?
So that
Yeah,
I can understand.
yeah.
Yeah, but to me, the idea of this now is a thing that she's part of a different race kind of makes me wonder where they're going to take this character now. So, I didn't like the beginning where the bubbles kept popping up. That took me out of it for some reason. But yeah, that's just me. But let's see what else. I did like the outro music. Very uh nostalgic for the Deep Space Nine series. So yeah. But to me, I don't know. There was just something about this particular episode that just didn't resonate me with a lot of things. I had a lot of downsides to this rather than upsides, but I'm gonna have to give this particular episode a. I'm gonna go for a 6. I think that's where I'm just gonna go for 6 and just go at it from there. So yeah, who's next?
Is can I say something about the drunk bar scene, just real quick? So I understand that the drunk bar scene is uncomfortable for some folks, because they don't sort of get that. But I will tell you that for many people who go to college and kind of like make groups of friends at college and go out and have fun and like do things like that, one of the kind of things that like graduates your mind, believe it or not, is doing things like getting drunk for the first time and seeing what happens, or uh, getting in a weird situation for the first time and seeing what happens, or smoking pot for the first time, seeing and like this is how you kind of like figure out the world around you. So that's how I read that. That scene was like, okay, number one, Sam is like gung ho, right? So she overdoes the shots thing right away. She's like, I want it all, girl. And she's like, "Bloop." Yep. And then which is of course, wait, like 12 shots at once would like put most people under the table. The fact that she was even able to function was kind of amazing. But like, that was her trying to explore her humanness to kind of the nth degree, which is something that you do in college as well. So that was my personal take on it.
Yeah, to me
I'll be
that
quiet now.
yeah, that whole scene just felt a little awkward, and it just didn't really fit the progress of the show. I guess I don't know. Oh well.
Well, I guess I'll jump in here because the first time I watched the episode, I didn't like it. I was right there with David. I was like, you know, Starfleet Academy is a new show. We have new characters. Why are we wasting time on Deep Space Nine? We don't need to. We know everything we need to know about Deep Space Nine. It's dead. It's gone. It's buried. Let's move on. And I wasn't impressed. I was like, what an utter waste of time. All the things they could have done, and they decided to do this. We got 10 episodes, and we wasted one on Deep Space Nine. This was my initial thought. Note I say initial thought. because after I watched it the first time and I was shaking my head and I went to work the next day, like I had to come home and watch it again, which generally I do. I watch it the first time and then I'll watch the second time or the third time to review it. And I have to tell you, the second time that I watched it, I enjoyed it much, much more than I did the first time I watched it. And then the third time that I watched it, I really enjoyed it much, much more and looked at it differently than I did the first time I watched it. So I have to preface that because I think a lot of fans might watch it once and that's it. But I watched it more than once, and I was looking at the Deep Space Nine stuff from a different point of view than I was the first time I watched it. You know, she's the emissary. She's trying to make a connection. She connects to Cisco. That was great. Um, I loved seeing Jake there, and the reveal that Tawny Newsome is in actually Dax was awesome. The Deep Space Nine music was awesome. Um, I did not like the fish ceremony thing. I thought that B plot wasn't needed at all. Was it funny? Yeah. But it wasn't necessary. If I'm correct, I think this is the first time that Starfleet Academy has actually done that, where they have these A and B plot stuff running simultaneously. I don't remember them being like that, and it just felt like this
What do you,
B plot was stuck in
what,
here.
what are you talking about, Jim? Like almost every episode of Star Trek has a B plot.
Not yeah, not like this, not like that one did.
Pretty
Not,
much like
not,
every kind of narrative, drama, television, storytelling you can name. I mean, if you look at it and you sometimes it's woven in more discreetly, and so it doesn't seem as overt as this one was. But it's storytelling 101. There's always more than one plot happening, guaranteed.
well, so then this B plot was very poorly written. Because it just jumped in my face. And Starfleet Academy hasn't been doing that. These plots have, the episodes have all flowed seamlessly. This one, I was like, it just didn't fit. It didn't make sense to me to put that in there for what reason. So, you know, there was that. But I did really like seeing Sam learn how to drink, how to be human. I like the relationship. I like the fact that Remy throws up glitter. I thought like that's an interesting fact. And unlike David, I did like the whimsical, what do you call it? The little drawings, the crayons, the "this is me" type of thing at the beginning. I thought I really liked the way it was started, where she was talking about all the different nicknames that she has. I thought that was clever, and I also like the fact that we got to see um, uh, Caleb and Tarima's relationship move a little bit forward. And I like that it wasn't in your face. They kind of just moved it forward just enough so that we could know it's still going on and it's still there. And then the bar fight started. So, there's that too. But overall, I did enjoy it more the second and third time I viewed it. I was going to give it a 6, like David. But after watching it a couple more times, I really, really enjoyed it. And I'm going to bump my score up to an 8. So that's where I ended up after being disappointed the first time I watched it. I bumped it up to an 8. So that's that's my take on it. And Charles, you want to jump in here next?
Okay. As I mentioned before, I think to a little bit that the bar scene did. I can understand the needing for the bar scene of its college life, but I think just the fights in it got a little overdone. The B scene, just a little bit of plot line on that one. And I think the plot line on that one was why the leader of the military academy has such an anger against the chancellor, because he looks and thinks that he gave that she gave up on Starfleet. And so I do like that little bit of plot line to that one. Took a long way to get to that point, but I do like that point. One interesting thing we got to see about Sam was the fact, like, okay, we realized one of the points Sam is not human because Sam can't eat. But it's like, okay, do you put tomato in gumbo or not? And I thought that was an interesting debate. I was like, okay, let's about all this food that Cisco at the restaurant used to make, and all these different offerings. And it's like, okay, I don't know what this tastes like. Help me, tell me what it's like. It's like, I like that point of view. It's like, okay, she needs her friends to help to realize what all this stuff, what's special about this food. A little bit about the fact that she wants to be a little human. Eric said, well, why was the person monitoring her so angry? And I think that was a little bit of a callback still. And I love the meme that somebody put out there where they had Mork and her both there reporting to their emissary. And it's like, yes,
I love it. It's
I
great.
loved it.
I know. I love how you're
But
bringing Mork and Mindy into this. This is great.
that's exactly what it reminded
No,
me
you're
of.
right.
I
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
loved watching Mork and Mindy. End of the episode, he
Nanu, Nanu.
always had to talk back to his planet to what happened. And was it Orson? Somehow Orson comes to mind as the one he was reporting to. And yeah, he did get angry sometimes. He really wanted to know what was going on. Why are these humans acting this way? And I think that's a little bit of the reminiscence of what her guidance person was doing. Was he one to sit there and say, okay, why are humans like this? Can we trust humans? Can we come back to them? So I like that part of the story of, okay, we get a little bit more idea of the society. And the society is a very interesting, unique society who's been staying away from other societies. And can they integrate back? So I like what they're doing with that part. Overall, this episode, hard to decide on this. I kind of agree with Jim. A little bit towards Eric. I think I'll score this one just a little bit higher because I do think that bringing Jake back and bringing the voice of Cisco back, I think really was a great homage to DS9. So why don't we score it a DS9?
Nice. All right, Paul's basically like it's. I see that information just
Paul's
wants to
at the
like
booth.
flow from him right now. Let's hear it,
He's
buddy.
It's coming out of my pores, right?
how we can end it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm having a very Rashomon experience. I'm sure no one knows what I mean by that. It's very strange how we can all watch the same episode and have very different takes on it. It's quite interesting to me. Again, I really want to compliment the actress Carice. It's Carice Brooks, right? I'm pretty sure I have it right. Who plays Sam. I think she did a wonderful job here, and I predict we're going to see a lot more of her because she displayed tremendous range in this role here, right? And you may not. I mean, it seems a lot of people really like, oh, too much silliness or whatever, and I don't like the cartoon balloons and whatnot. And it's just like it's again, it's like I admire the show for being able to push past some of the narrow confines that a lot of old school Star Trek fans want to impose upon it. Right? It's just like it's not like it's too silly, more seriousness. I applaud them going in the direction they're doing, being willing to try new things. This is what a lot of us were excited to see Discovery do, try new things. And I'm very happy to see them do it on this show, right? They're having to adhere to a lot of kind of young person tropes, if you will, but it also feels liberating in a lot of ways. And I love the affection for Deep Space Nine, for the idea of Benjamin Sisko as a legendary person, having to live up to a lot of young people in this environment, are having to live up to the shadow of people who have expectations of them. Genesis Light, her father's an admiral, right? You must be a captain. You cannot fail. Jaden Cragg, right? You must be a warrior. You cannot pursue your less violent instincts. All the idea of, living under the shadow of other people's expectations, right? And we're seeing Sam having to contend with that too. That's a very relatable, very human experience, right? And to see it depicted like this, I think, is quite refreshing and engaging to me. I thought this is extremely well written by Tawny Newsome, with a lot of affection for both the new characters on the show and the old legacy characters of Deep Space Nine. So I think she did a wonderful job. But she tends to really show up and go to work, right? I mean, I've heard she's working on some other kind of a Star Trek comedy series to some degree right now. So I'm glad she's doing a lot of writing, because she's clearly not just, as they say, a one-trick pony. She shows up with multiple skills, and I think she's going to add a lot to the more she can continue to work with the franchise. She has solid ideas and a lot of understanding of character that she brings from her work as an actor and a comedian. So I think she did a great job here and should be applauded. No one's talking about Jaden Cragg and his
I
relationship
was
with
I,
Kyle.
I was gonna see if you were gonna bring it up, and if you
Oh
weren't, I
yeah,
was on my list.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jaden's wearing a skirt when he goes to the bar, and he is being quite receptive to the flirtations of War College pal Kyle. And you know what, friends? If you have an issue with that, I kind of feel bad for you, right? Because and nothing's been overtly explained or suggested yet. It's just been very innocuous, but I think it's quite nice that they are willing to be an accepting, open. It's just, can we have a little more of this in the world, please? A little less vitriol, a little less intolerance, and that's the future Star Trek is trying to, help us embrace, is a more tolerant one, a more inclusive one. So I think it's great. Eric, would you like to add some more to that, since we brought this up just a little bit? I mean, I found it quite delightful.
Yeah, no, I mean they sort of teased it last episode, and then this episode they took it a little bit further, and it feels very innocent and exploratory to me right now, which is what college is all about, man. So
Yeah.
yeah, I dig it, and if it turns out to be nothing, then great. And if it turns out to be something, then great. That's kind of how it's gonna go.
And it's
I'm
subverting a
sorry.
lot of
I'm
tropes,
sorry,
right?
but Klingons are warriors. They cannot be gay. It's not possible. It's utterly ridiculous. What kind of idiots are writing this crap? It's too woke, and it's just a bunch of BS, and I just cannot be involved with this because
Subtitles.
Gene
Uncle Jim is
Roddenberry's turning
satirizing
over in his
comments made by
grave.
fans right now. He is not actually saying his actual feelings. This is Uncle Jim's attempt to show us what the right wing folks are thinking, because they're intolerant. So anyway, no offense to right wing
Exactly.
people, but for God's sake, get a room.
Yes,
But yeah,
exactly what
it's
you sound like when you say stupid crap like that. No, I think it's great. I really, really do, and I like the way they're handling it. It's
Yeah, it's
they're
and
going
what
through.
I like about it is the fact that Kyle is with the War College, right? And you would expect it's like,
Yes,
oh, this whole dynamic at the beginning, War College, we hate you because we're alpha men fighting with weapons and violence and aggression. And he's just like, my name's Kyle. What are you doing?
I like the
it's
cut
just
of your
like,
jib. What do you think
yeah,
about
he's
that?
just friendly, and he does not have any interest in fighting at all. And he's just like, my name's Kyle. It means Kyle. He's kind of an innocent, and he's not shy about expressing himself. And I think that's, again, I keep bringing up this word for this episode. I just found it refreshing, right? I mean, we're in an environment right now. There's a lot of grim stuff happening, and I just find this take on this series to be just exactly what I need right now. I mean, it's very lighthearted.
Yeah, I mean, Paul, wouldn't you say, like, I would say that this series, more than anything else that we've seen in recent years, has this, like, super return to optimism vibe to it. Uh, and the entire series is refreshing as a result. And I don't know if it's because it involves young people kind of discovering things, or if it's just the cast mix that they have, or if it's the writing, or what is it, but it feels very optimistic to me.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I don't want to feel like I'm dumping all over the B story either, right? With Holly Hunter, because she's great. I mean, she's a lot of good stuff in this. We see a lot more from her next week, because we're running 2 weeks behind here, so we're talking about an episode from 2 weeks ago. But I think she, takes a little moment and adds a lot to it, right? I mean, they didn't give her a lot to work with, but I think she did super fine job. And I mean, I think if they would have just let Jet Reno and the Doctor just ad lib for 10 minutes. I like where they were going, and I think if they would have just said, "Okay, just let them go crazy here and see what happened," I mean, they're just like they're such hams, right? They
Those
cannot
two.
stop. So
Can you imagine them sitting at the bar together, like having a
yeah,
beer, just
I
like
think the
riffing about
more of
stuff?
that stuff that we can do, and an unhinged, doctor, hologram, EMH doctor, right? These days, he's pretty much at the point where he said to his academy friends, his students, "I give not two shits what you think," and I'm like, he's gone, he's sort of done, right? He's over. He's a little bit more infiltrated than he used to be, and I really like that. So yeah, I think there was just way a lot of good stuff going on in this episode. I was very charmed by it. I feel obligated to give it a 10 just because I think it is really strong and necessary right now to have this kind of stuff going on. I like that folks behind the scenes, showrunners, you get so much complaint in recent Star Trek series, especially Discovery's, like, from folks who are really uncomfortable with progressive ideas and homosexuality and things like that, or people of different ethnic backgrounds. Well, don't hit us over the head with it. I don't like it, and they're just like, oh, very worked up. You're like, oh, we're just like, you're shoveling it at us, right? And it's almost like the showrunners kind of listened to part of that. And I said, all right, we're not going to put attention towards it, but we're just going to do it anyway. But we're certainly not going to stay our hand, or we're just going to not even identify. We'll just give it to you, and there it is. And it's just like Laura Thok and Jet Reno, probably going to have a honeymoon at some point, right? And I'm there for it. But it's just matter of fact. There it is. We're not holding back. It's like this Klingon's probably bisexual and he's having a good time and we're wearing a skirt. So there it is. But it's not like we're talking about it and making a big scene about it. It's just there it is. And I think it's almost subversive the way that they are, kind of saying, okay, hostile, negative fans, we hear you and we don't hear you. And they're kind of moving forward with, I think, a little bit more confidence. They're certainly not, gelding the show to appease, conservative fans, which is, thank frickin' God, right? Or we would have nothing to even watch. So I'm really happy about that. No offense to anybody, but Jesus, I mean, the
If
amount
you
of grief
guys,
these people take a lot of grief, the fat shaming and all the stuff. I mean, it's really tough. They're trying to make a show that's refreshing and positive and uplifting, and I think they're doing a hell of a good job. So 10 for me. Excited to keep watching. Love what they're doing. More Tawny Newsome, more Carice Brooks, please.
if you guys are, I was going to post it on our Facebook page, and I still might. If you guys follow Jaden, Kareem Diane, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Kareem,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's his name.
I don't know about the
He has
pronunciation,
been,
but yeah, that's him.
I think that's him. I follow him on Instagram, and he has been taking so much flack and attack from Star Trek fans over this, and he had the most eloquent response to that. Um, that I've ever seen, and I think I'm going to put it on our page because it sums up Star Trek absolutely perfectly. And the people that don't get it, the people that are so insulted and incensed over this whole thing, just don't understand it. And I think, like Paul said, one of the great things about it is that they're not hitting you over the head with it. All these people that are saying stuff like that, they're forcing it down our throats, they're beating us over the head with it. Absolutely not true at all. Not true at all. In fact, I think if you didn't really watch carefully, you might not even notice it. You might miss it. It's so subtly done uh, so far. So, you guys should go check out his Instagram page because, and God, I was so disappointed when he wouldn't come on the podcast. I would love to get this guy on the show and talk to him. He is an incredible dude. I think he's doing a great job with Jaden. So anyway, so Charles, what do our Trexperts have to say when compared to our fans on our Facebook page?
Well, we're almost in line with the fans. The fans gave this episode an 8.3, and the host gave it an 8.6.
Wow. Wow. That is pretty much right, almost in touch with our fans. That's because Trek Talking has great fans. I got to say that. I think our fans are amongst the best. I really do. I'm not just saying that. Well, yeah, I am just saying that. But I think that we have some great fans. I really, really do. I appreciate all of you guys, and I think you guys really shine when it comes to Star Trek. So I appreciate that. All right, guys. So that pretty much wraps up our review. Next week, what was the name of that episode? The Miriaki one. Come, let's go. Come sail away. What's the name of last week's episode? Come, let's fly. I forgot the title.
I believe it's Come Let's Away, I believe it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. We're going to talk about that one next week. So tune in for that. It's going to be a furious time. See what I did with that? And we're going to have a lot of fun. All right, guys. So it's time to move on to our Star Trek birthdays. And you know what that means? That means this. So, guys, this is our Star Trek birthdays, and we always start off our our sci-fi birthdays. I'm sorry we changed it. Our sci-fi birthdays by remembering those members of our sci-fi family that sadly enough are no longer with us. And for that, we turn to Eric.
Yeah, Jim, good thing you corrected that because we actually have 2 out of 5 this week that are not Star Trek related, but are sci-fi related. Our first remembrance this week goes out to actress Susan Oliver. That was the stage name of Charlotte Gerke, a New York native who played Vina in the original series pilot episode The Cage. Interestingly, despite the Orion dancing that we actually get in this episode, she wasn't a dancer before playing Vina. She actually trained with a choreographer every day of a week before beginning filming. So it was like a quick study to get that in there. In common with Majel Barrett Roddenberry, she also worked as a test subject for that Orion makeup, and she said they tried many, many things until they finally found what they wanted. There you go. So she had to sit in the chair for, I guess, like days at a time. Years later, she wanted to direct an episode of The Next Generation, I read, but never got the chance, the response being that she didn't know enough about visual effects. This, despite the fact that a knowledge of visual effects was not a director's requirement for the series. Star Trek expert Larry Nemenchek has commented that Oliver could very well have learned how to direct for the show and been fine at doing so. So it sounds like she wasn't given the opportunity that she probably was deserved. But she did eventually receive an Emmy Award nomination for her performance in the 3-hour 1976 NBC television movie Amelia Earhart. So happy birthday to Susan Oliver. Happy birthday as well to somebody who is near and dear to my heart. Cesar Romero, of course, was the American actor best known for his iconic portrayal of the Joker in the 1966 to 1968 television series Batman. He was in 22 episodes back in the day. Listen, Cesar Romero is just one of those names that I think almost everybody here in the United States knows. He has over 203 acting credits on his IMDb page, spanning from 1933 to 1998, so 65 years of acting. You can go through that and see how many just amazing things he was involved with. In terms of volume of work, he was on 51 episodes of Falcon Crest in the mid 80s, playing Peter Stavros. He did do 4 episodes of Fantasy Island, of course, with Ricardo Montalban, and he did 36 episodes of a show called Passport to Danger back in the mid 1950s. But so many other great things. We're talking Buck Rogers, Get Smart, Ocean's 11, etc., etc., etc. Thank you so much, Cesar Romero, for being my first Joker that I ever got to see on the live screen, and for doing such a great job. Happy birthday. Happy birthday as well to Meg Gillespie Wiley, the actress who played the Keeper in the first pilot of the original series. Wiley had the honor of portraying the first villain, I guess they call them, sort of villain to ever chronologically appear on Star Trek. Over 5 decades would make around 100 television guest appearances, including shows like Twilight Zone, Untouchables, Addams Family, and The Fugitive. She can also be seen in a number of films, including Alfred Hitchcock's 1964 thriller Marnie and the 1971 cult action movie Vanishing Point. Happy birthday to Meg Wiley. Happy birthday as well, going outside of Star Trek, to Jeremy Bulloch, the British actor best known for playing Boba Fett in Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, also myriad other incarnations of Star Wars, whether they be video games, later movies, television series, etc. 112 IMDb credits, including mostly guest starring in British television shows when he's not doing Star Wars. During the 1980s, Jeremy played many roles on television and on the stage in London's West End. He also had 2 worldwide theater run tours covering the Middle East and the Far East. And since the re-release of Star Wars in 1997, the interest in the character of Boba Fett has meant that Jeremy was invited to many sci-fi conventions and events all over the world. His fan mail has increased 5-fold, and this was before we lost him back in 2020, but his fan mail had increased between the 1990s and when we lost him in 2020, 5-fold, and he managed to somehow reply to every single person who wrote him a letter personally. So, man, that's dedication. Thank you, Jeremy Bulloch, for being such a great Boba Fett and for being so engaged with your fans. I think that really means a lot to people. And last but not least on our remembrance list this week, we have Peter Marco, the actor who played Gaetano in the TOS first season episode, The Galileo 7. Marco had been active from the early 1960s to the 1970s in acting. Most of his known acting credits are guest appearances on television shows such as The Outer Limits, 12 O'Clock High, The Fugitive, and Mission Impossible. He also appeared in an uncredited role in the 1966 film An American Dream, and had a role in the 1977 adult movie, The Capitol Hill Girls, also known as Political Pleasures. Sounds interesting, Peter. Happy birthday to Peter Marco. Perhaps there's more to see of him. We shall see. Moving past our remembrances, I'm going to pass this flaming birthday candle over to Charles this week.
Well, thank you, Eric. And if I'd known I was going to have some of these birthdays, I would have rearranged them a little bit. Let's start with a happy birthday to Leslie Beavis, actress who played Rion Naj in Star Trek Deep Space Nine's second and third and fourth season episodes, Homecoming, The Abandoned, The Broken Link. Portrayed a villain, Commander Zircon, in Spaceballs with Tim Ross. Happy birthday to Ellen Bry, actress who played Falarin in TNG's sixth season episode, The Quality of Life. Happy birthday to Michael Ensign, appeared as Corolla in TNG's fourth season episode, First Contact, Lajal in DS9's first season episode, The Forsaken, and Tarkranian Bard in Voyager's third season episode, False Prophets, and Arat in Enterprise's second season episode, Stigma. Now here comes one of what I consider one of my big birthdays. A very happy birthday to Kirk Thatcher. Was the associate producer in Star Trek for The Voyage Home, also playing the direct assistant to Leonard Nimoy in the episode, and is well known for playing the part as a music blasting punk on the bus in the film. He's also the Vulcan computer and writer of its questions, lending its own name to Kurai Kinva, and composed the song I Hate You, which plays in the boombox in the movie. Narrated the animated Star Trek Short Trek episode Epthrema and Dot. Returned as the punk of the bus in Star Trek episode Picard's the Watcher. Also, looking into his history, spent some time as a puppeteer for the Muppets, and spent a little bit of time working in ILM, and did some design work, including, I believe it was Star Wars episodes 5 and 6. So, interesting career for Kirk. Very happy birthday to him. Happy birthday to Andrew Robinson, best known for portraying Ellen Garrick in DS9. He also provided the voice of Garrick in the video game series Star Trek Deep Space Nine, The Fallen, and Star Trek Online, and wrote a novel A Stitch in Time, which he also narrated the audio version of that. Another good one for me in my non-sci-fi. Happy birthday to Christopher Eccleston, English actor best known for work in various socialist television dramas, and best known as the Ninth Doctor in the Doctor Who series. Only had Christopher for a year in the series, but he came back in 2005 when they went through the Doctor Who reboot, because they were waiting for Tennant, and Tennant couldn't come in till 2006. So we spent a year with him, and he made an excellent Doctor. He brought some very powerful episodes and really gave us a good basis for the Doctor for Tennant to come over and take over. Wouldn't you agree, Eric?
Absolutely. I was going to make a joke that probably only you and I would get, Charles, but I was going to say that his portrayal of the Doctor was fantastic. It's one of his
Yes.
lines that he would say as the Ninth Doctor. But
Yes.
anyway, he's the guy. So I was not a classic Doctor Who fan, and I fell in love with Doctor Who because of Christopher Eccleston, and I actually loved the way that he portrayed the character. It kind of like he had this leather jacket thing going on, right? So he has like this gritty edge to him, and plus he's British, and he's kind of like somewhat affronting, is that the word? Like, he's just very aggressive with the way he communicates at the beginning of the series, and so you kind of have to be like, whoa, okay, I get it. Anyway, fantastic
No
Doctor.
scarf
Yes.
though. Where's the scarf?
Well,
No
he's
scarf.
got the jacket. You don't need a scarf when you got a jacket that beautiful.
Yep.
Only one Doctor had a scarf. Only one Doctor
He
had a
was
scarf.
in the very first 28 days later too. I don't know if you guys know that picture.
Okay.
You should, but
Okay.
he's kind of the heavy in that picture, and he's red.
Well, as I always sit there and tell people, it's like Baker was my first Doctor, but Eccleston's the one that brought me back to Doctor Who. And Eric will understand this one. One of my favorite lines from the Christopher Eccleston era is a line, "Are you my mummy?" Oh,
Yeah, that's such a creepy
that's
episode.
a creepy episode, but such a great episode.
Children in gas masks. That's all I'll say.
Yes. Yeah.
Are you my mummy?
Yeah. Oh. And final on my list, so we can move over to Paul, because I know he's itching over there. Happy birthday to Zach Gillian, who played David Gentry in Voyager's fifth season episode Into the Flesh. He is best known for playing Billy Peltzer in the Gremlins movie. And now I will
Charles,
pass this. Yes.
what are the 3 rules to gremlins? Number 1.
Don't feed them after midnight.
Number
Don't get
2.
them wet. Don't get them wet, and I
And
can't
number
think of
3.
number 3. I can't remember number 3. Is it loud noises?
How about you, David? I know you know. David knows. David knows everything. No?
Don't
And
feed them
I'll give
cheese.
you a hint. The answer is not the Queen's.
Don't play loud music.
Eric, come on, pull us out of here. I know
Yeah,
Paul
you
knows it.
can't. Yeah, I know. Well, I remember it mostly because Gizmo has that. Gizmo, that's his name, right? He's like,
Yes.
bright light, right? So, like,
Oh,
you're
the
supposed to
bright
keep away
light.
from bright lights, right? Yeah.
That's
Yes.
right. Those
Okay.
are the
Yeah.
3 rules to
Oh.
gremlins. All right.
Okay.
Sorry, I went off on a tangent there.
Here's
That'll happen. Yeah.
On occasion.
Here's a flaming candle,
Yeah.
Paul.
Oh, thank you, Charles. All I can say is nanu, nanu. That's my commentary for tonight. Yeah, okay. Let's focus, friends. Focus. First of all, happy birthday goes out to the legendary Pernilla August, a Swedish actress who we acknowledge in sci-fi fandom for playing the role of Shmi Skywalker in The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. Of course, Shmi Skywalker is the mother of Anakin Skywalker, slave, portrayed in the show, right? Later portrayed another version of the same character on the Clone Wars TV series. So great to see her. Any Bergman fans out there? Probably not. Fanny and Alexander, anybody? No, no, I guess not. But Pernilla August, of course, has a long history of foreign films as well, prior to being mainstreamed over in the Lucasfilm universe. So happy birthday to you, Pernilla August. Happy birthday goes out to Neil McDonough. Very cool cat who came out in Star Trek First Contact in a big way. I thought they were going to do a lot more with this character, Lieutenant Hawk. First time we'd ever seen that character. They were sort of positioning him, I thought, to be a mainstay, a new character, but his time on the Enterprise was short lived at the hands of the Borg. He was known for his one of his early roles, the Band of Brothers on HBO. I don't know if anyone's seen that show, but tremendous miniseries. Desperate Housewives, Minority Report, Walking Tall, Flags of Our Fathers, and the fourth season of Arrow. So you see him. I'm pretty sure he was done a lot of other stuff on FX as well, but real visually arresting character. Really cool actor. So happy birthday, Neil McDonough. We'll keep an eye out for you. Happy birthday to Caroline Blakiston, a British actress who played the original Mon Mothma, leader of the Rebel Alliance, way back in Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Of course, that character is come back to prominence from another actor on courtesy of Rogue One and Andor. So great to see the legacy of Mon Mothma. We're keeping it alive there for you, Caroline. Happy birthday to the hilarious, outrageous Simon Pegg, super nerd fan, English actor, writer, and comedian who portrayed, of course, Montgomery Scott in Star Trek Into Darkness, Star Trek, and Star Trek Beyond, the JJ era. And together with Doug Young, also helped write the screenplay for Star Trek Beyond as well. Let's not forget that. He's known for starring in and creating a lot of great British comedies, including the cult series Spaced. I don't know if a lot of folks have seen Spaced before, but of course, the Edgar Wright Cornetto trilogy would be what I think most folks think of. The hilarious Shaun of the Dead, World's End, and a movie I cannot avoid watching if it's ever have access to it. Right in the middle of that trilogy, Hot Fuzz. Oh my God, that is the funniest damn thing of all time, and he is just great in that. Has everyone on this show seen Hot Fuzz?
I have seen Hot Fuzz.
Okay, it's just bladder exploding. It is so hilarious. It is just the best. I mean, I love Shaun of the Dead too, but something about Hot Fuzz, man, it's just such a send up of like action movies and Point Break and whatnot. The best. Happy birthday to Sherry Jackson, who played Andrea in the original series first season episode What Are Little Girls Made Of? She was known for her role as Terry Williams on Make Room for Daddy back in the mid to late 50s and appeared in 2 episodes of Batman. Who knows if that was with Cesar Romero or not, but Sherry Jackson,
That was with
indelible
the Riddler.
with the Riddler. There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, I had to mention, Eric, great thing about Cesar Romero, right? It was a daring move. They offered him the job, right? They said, hey, you got to shave your mustache, Caesar.
Oh, but
And,
but they maked up over it.
yeah, he said, you out of your mind. I'm Cesar Romero. I'm not changing my mustache for you. Go to hell.
Yeah.
So they just put
And in
makeup over it.
1960s SD TV, you can't really see it, but nowadays when you
Yeah,
watch it, you
yeah.
can
But
see
it's
that they make up
great.
right over
It's
the
great
it's
that he
awesome.
just said, he
Yeah.
drew a line in the sand. Said, I'm
Yeah.
not shaving.
Not the
Yeah,
mustache.
I
You want
love
Cesar
that.
Romero, you take the mustache.
Yeah, it's great. I just love that so much. Let's segue from Sherry Jackson to another actress here, to Denise Richards. actress and model who rose to prominence with the Paul Verhoeven film Starship Troopers and the thriller Wild Things, which a lot of folks have seen as well. She's also been in a Bond picture. I'm pretty sure it was Tomorrow Never Dies, if I'm not mistaken. It's one of those mid ones with Pierce there. She's played a scientist named Christmas Jones, if you can believe that. So
Apparently, it's The World Is Not Enough.
the world is not enough. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. And there's a pun with her character name that I will leave for you to discover on your own.
Oh,
But
right. I remember this
yeah,
now. Yes.
yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to say anything.
I'm not either, but everyone's Googling frantically,
Yeah, I know.
but yeah, she's done a lot of great stuff. I mean, Starship Troopers is so fun. My God, it's just really,
You
really
know, a
good.
rare occurrence of, in my opinion, where the movie's even better than the book. Like
Oh yeah,
the book is really good, but there's something special about the way they executed the movie and they translated the ridiculousness that the soldiers feel in the book into actual ridiculousness in the movie in a really effective way.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was great because Paul Verhoeven was right off of RoboCop, right? So he was
Hmm.
super hot, and they
Yeah.
would let him do whatever he wanted, right? Because he was in a rare position where it's just like you've got this reputation, and your last picture was so big, so they're like, oh, okay, and so no one really thought to censor him or curtail his instincts. He just went nuts, and
And that movie
Starship
is
Troopers is
funny
the
and
result.
brutal
Yeah, yeah.
at
Yeah,
the
and
same
it's
time.
a lot of political satire in Starship
Yep.
Troopers too that
Yep.
people miss. So it's good stuff. So moving on back to Star Trek. Happy birthday to Andrea Drom, actress and model who played Yeoman Smith in very creative name in first season episode Where No Man Has Gone Before. She's the one who's like hiding behind Gary Mitchell's protective forearm as they cross the galaxy barrier. Don't worry, I won't let the barrier get you, yeoman. You'll meet me in my quarters later. Right? I mean, it's kind of a thankless job, but yeah, still, when you're early Star Trek, she was one of those faces you saw. I think probably the character eventually morphed into Yeoman Rand would be my guess. But happy birthday to you, Andrea Drum. Happy birthday! Got to just hit the brakes because this is a big one for me. The great LeVar Burton. Uh, Phenomenal character, and we're so lucky that he's part of the Star Trek universe. The amount of heart he brought to Geordie LaForge in the Next Generation, and his enduring friendship with Data, I just love that dynamic those two created so much. He gets a lot of dismissal because of the eye appliance that he wears, right? So you don't really see his eyes throughout Next Gen that much, but the work and the character building that he did, and the amount of enthusiasm and heart, and I've just heard of just reams of individuals that got into engineering professions because of his portrayal of Geordie LaForge, right? Just tons and tons of people were inspired by him. But he's a bright light for literacy and civil rights and illumination and enlightenment. Frankly, that's who LeVar Burton is. Of course, he portrayed the role of Kunta Kinte on the original miniseries Roots, for almost 20 some odd years. He was the host of Reading Rainbow and was so responsible for so many young people discovering reading and the love of words and storytelling. I mean, what an incredible gift he gave to the planet with this service on that show. He's received 12 Daytime Emmy Awards and a Peabody Award for his service as host and executive producer of Reading Rainbow. One of the greats, absolutely legendary human being, and a role model that everyone should look up to. So we love you, LeVar Burton. Please come on the show. I'd love to talk to you for like 6 hours. What a great guy, though. Absolutely amazing. So I don't know how you topped out, Uncle Jim, but good luck.
LeVar Burton, that's a tough one. Well, I'm going to try, though. So I like to do the Klingons. So let's get right to it. What do you say? So first, we want to say happy birthday and kapla to Nancy Youngblood. There she is right there. And she played Talen in the Voyager third season episode Displaced and Kalana on Deep Space Nine seventh season episode Once More Unto the Breach. If I remember correctly, she went off with Kor, I think, on the Rotaran when he tried to regain his honor and held off half the Dominion fleet by himself. If I got the right episode. So happy birthday to Nancy Youngblood. She went to Sto-vo-kor with honor. Next, we want to say Qapla' and happy birthday to Matthias Hughes, who played a Klingon general in Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, one of the best movies. Oh, I'm sorry, wait, I made a mistake. In Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. Among his acting resume are films such as No Retreat, No Surrender 2, Raging Thunder, and the evil leading role in I Come in Peace. Happy birthday, Matthias Hughes. And last on my list, not a Klingon, we want to say happy birthday to Jerry O'Connell. He's the American actor who voices Commander Jack Ransom in Star Trek Lower Decks. He's also married to Rebecca Romaine, of course, who's number one, Una Chin Riley, on Star Trek Strange New Worlds. And I think he's best known for his co-starring role with Will Wheaton in Stand By Me. Excellent movie, just incredible movie. And of course, as Quinn Mallory in the sci-fi series Sliders. And that, my friends, wraps up our Star Trek birthdays. Happy birthday to everybody. And do we have time for some Star Trek news, guys? Yeah, we do. We do. So I'm going to start off, and we don't have a Star Trek news intro, unfortunately. Time for Star Trek news, Star Trek news, Star Trek news.
This just in, Klingons can be gay or heterosexual. It's time for our news report from Uncle Jim. It
We'll have
doesn't
to
really
have
matter.
Eric come up with it. We'll have to come up with a Star Trek news. So, all right, guys, the first news, I'm going to jump in here. Michelle Yeoh became the first Malaysian honored with a Hollywood Walk of Fame star, and there she is right there. The awesome, the lovely, the incredible Michelle Yeoh from Star Trek Discovery. Oscar-winning actress Michelle Yeoh was honored with her very own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The Hollywood Chamber of Commerce is proud to welcome actress Michelle Yeoh to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, said producer Ann Martinez. Michelle's extraordinary talent, grace, and groundbreaking career have left an indelible mark on the entertainment industry. Her star honors a trailblazer whose work continues to inspire audiences worldwide. On top of that, Yeoh is showing her experimental side in Sandawara, a short film directed by Sean Baker, shot entirely on iPhones at a Malaysian night market. She takes on 5 different roles in that film. I never imagined that a girl from Malaysia who loved discipline, dance, and dreaming without limits would travel so far through my stories. My paths have crossed languages and cultures, continents, and genres, sometimes gracefully, sometimes a little painfully, but always guided by curiosity and deep faith in the cinema, she said. Congratulations to Michelle Yeoh on your star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I think that we are so lucky as Star Trek fans to have her in our Star Trek family. And that scene in Star Trek Discovery when she kicks Lorca in the face when he's standing behind her is still amongst my all-time favorite fight scenes that we've ever seen on Star Trek. She is incredible. Congratulations to Michelle Yeoh. And there's some great pictures of her getting the star. And she also dedicated it to her family. So congratulations to Michelle Yeoh. Okay, V, you want to take the next one? Okay. I guess Eric, as our Deep Space Nine fan, you want to take the next one?
Sure. So this is a great article wherein Avery Brooks gave his blessing to Starfleet Academy's Big Cisco episode. It's safe to call Star Trek Starfleet Academy's episode series Acclamation Mill a massive tribute to both Deep Space Nine and Avery Brooks' beloved character, Captain Benjamin Sisko. Episode writer Tawny Newsom explains how the episode came out. She said, I was pretty adamant that for this episode, it was our job to make this an homage, a celebration, a really big, and a really and really a bit of a correction. There we go. And really a bit of a correction for what I feel has been an oversight in a lot of modern Trek. We haven't talked nearly enough about the Siskos, about Benjamin Sisko, or about how the show Deep Space Nine occurred at all, despite it being a massive addition to our canon. So I was pretty adamant. I'd say I was frothing at the mouth some days about how important this was. So if anyone thought it was too much canon, they shared those details among themselves. Sirach and I were on the phone and at lunches for months and months and months and months trying to figure out how we could get this done, says Newsom of Working with Lofton. Getting the episode made was such a gargantuan feat, and I have had so many partners locked arm in arm in battle. Between co-showrunners Naga Landau and Alex Kurtzman, Sirach, executive producer Aaron Burns, don't even know where to start, but all I can tell you is that it was seemingly so impossible to be able to address the hugeness of the Sisko story with some of the limitations that we have because of canon, some of the limitations we have because of available actors. And we really just wanted to honor the man Avery Brooks. Brooks was a presence behind the scenes where he approved of the episode nearly every step of the way. Though Brooks doesn't make a physical cameo, we do hear Sisko's voice toward the end of the episode. Interestingly, that audio clip wasn't taken from DS9 but came from a more personal source. Quote, "That is a private recording that belonged to Mr. Brooks that he very graciously allowed us to use." Newsom she revealed that regarding the audio that was taken from Brooks's spoken word album Here. I still get chills thinking about how it came to be, because I was very anxious asking him for anything, because this man has given so much of his artistry, his life, and himself to this franchise. He very graciously allowed us to have this. I made them put in Carice, aka Sam, saying some version of, "I can live with it." Newsom says regarding a variation of one of Sisko's most impactful lines, and someone who kept doing a version of the script later kept taking it out, and I kept putting it back in probably 7 or 8 times, and finally it made it to the final filming. So yeah, lovely kind of insight into the fact. I didn't realize that Avery Brooks had like been involved in the episode. I think that's really super cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
great article. So Paul, you want to keep this
Yeah.
train rolling, brother?
Respect. I mean, amazing, right? Absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic. All right.
Yeah,
We've been talking about.
this is a Paul story all the way. I did this one specifically for Paul. So,
All right.
yeah.
Well, nanu, Uncle Jim. Well, we've been talking about the upcoming Star Trek toys from Brian Volk-Weiss's Nacelle company here. None of them have made it yet. We're still waiting for them. A lot of uphill battles the man's been coping with here. So let's find out how things are progressing. Because we just came off a toy fair, right, last weekend. So while we're still waiting to actually get some of Nacelle's new Star Trek action figures and all their weird and wonderful deep cuts with the figure choices, the company hasn't been afraid about teasing its big plans for the future of the line. From even more out there figures, and I can give you some more news about this one when I'm done with the story, if anyone's curious, because I have the inside skinny.
Wait, inside skinny? Heck yeah.
Okay. I'll dog ear that page, Luke, and I'll be right there.
It's folded.
All right. From even more out there figures to plans for a celebratory 60th anniversary wave purely inspired by the crew of the original series, there's plenty to look forward to. But if you're especially interested in the latter, its biggest plan yet is right up your alley, friends, because Nacelle is planning a collectible Build a Bridge series of mini displays to accompany its line of action figures, starting off with the classic bridge of the USS Enterprise from the original Star Trek.
Unbelievable.
So 110 scale, right, to fit with the upcoming action figure series. The series will be available across 12 individual releases representing individual stations along the console stations of the Enterprise bridge, from science to communication to the central consoles for navigation, and of course, the captain's chair. Each display can either be used on its own to highlight individual figures which are sold separately, or interlock to create a complete circular diorama of the bridge, approximately 40 inches in diameter. That's like
What?
my entire
40
wingspan, right?
inches in diameter?
Yeah, because you have 7-inch figure, right? Like 6, 7 inches like that.
That's
So
like
if you
this
have it to
big.
scale, and it's
Holy
going to be
crud.
big. It's going to be, you need a lot of space for this,
I
right?
can't wait to see this in your basement.
I have a bridge. I'm not going to get that. No, sorry, Brian. I have a Playmate scale bridge. I'll put some pictures in the chat on it, but it's I had it,
I mean, so I'm sorry to
but
interrupt,
40
but
inches.
like
No.
I'm just like so these pieces, so 12 individual slices of bridge. So what
David, go
like
back to
each
that picture you had at the beginning of
Oh
the
yeah, do you have a
of
way
the
to
blueprint. Yeah, can you go backwards? There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah. So
So picture like how big a 7-inch figure is sitting in that chair, right?
yeah.
And
So
this is, mind you, lights and sounds illuminated, right? So this is going to be electronic. This is going to be
I
crazy.
mean,
It's going to be.
is this like a couple $100 per piece or like
I'm guessing he's probably going to have to charge like probably 8 sessions. I'm guessing at least $50 a pop. Lights and sounds, maybe
I've
more. I
I was
don't
gonna
know.
say
I've
it'd be
heard
more,
I've heard
yeah.
I
around
think
$50 each.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's more
Yeah, I
affordable
hope
than
it
I
comes. I
right.
hope
anticipated.
it comes to fruition. Anyhow, let me wrap this up
Sorry,
because
yeah.
no, it's okay. But each section is going to have lights and sounds, right? So Spock's viewer would have, in theory, light
That's
coming up
cool.
from it, and the sound of like the scanners and things that you hear, right, and all that stuff, which is just delightful, really, really cool. Replicating classic Star Trek background effects to bring your display to life. There's got to be a view screen, right? So with interchangeable stuff that you have there, right? All that stuff there is pretty cool. Uh, from Nacelle CEO Brian Volkweiss, who's all over social media and who were maybe once or 30 times mentioned, would love to get on this show. Maybe. In the brief history of Nacelle toys, the Build-A-Bridge playset is our most ambitious project yet, said CEO of Nacelle, Brian Volkweiss, in a press release. Launching during Star Trek's 60th anniversary, that's this year, it's a tribute to the ship that started it all. While Nacelle is currently staying quiet about how much individual display will cost, Charles, you're supposed to keep quiet about that. Ixnay on the ice spray, Charles. The company has confirmed that it will take fans a while to actually complete the full diorama, which the project launches sometime later this year. Its rollout on a monthly pre-order basis, meaning it will take at least 12 months, that's called a year, for the entire set to be completed. Wow. So a big, epic deal. So here's the deal. At previous appearances don't let this out, okay? Nobody wants to hear about this. All right? Let's keep it on the cue. But in previous appearances on social media, right, and previous sneak peeks of the figures, right, we get this big wave coming. I think it's wave 3, right, that's going to show all the original series cast members, right? So Kirk, Spock, everyone like that, right? And there was, the whole original bridge crew, right? And there was a unidentified mystery 2-pack, and people have been driving themselves crazy trying to figure out what that 2-pack is, right? Would it be Kirk and Spock with Lirpas? Would it be Christopher Pike and Pike in wheelchair? A lot of theorizing, right?
Yeah, I think it's Gary Smith and Yeoman Smith.
Oh, well, there you go. Platonic friends
Pyramid.
on the bridge. But
Gary
there you
Mitchell.
have it. But actually, I just happened to get from a very reliable source
Oh.
today. I can now on this podcast reveal what that 2-pack is going to be. And I can tell you that one of the
Let me.
accessories is a
It's going to
typewriter.
be Chekhov and Sulu from Star Trek V: The Final
Wait,
Frontier.
is it typewriter? Is it
It,
gonna be a Deep Space Nine themed one?
no, it is actually going to be action figures of
The Doctor.
Gene Roddenberry and Lucille Ball.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. Honoring the genesis and creation of Star Trek itself, where she was congratulating him on actually getting it together and making it happen as it. So
That's really
it is a
cool.
Roddenberry figure. It is a Lucille Ball figure. With any luck, when we're back on the show next week, we'll be able to get some imagery of that. I can send out a YouTube clip where have got some pretty good intel on this thing. So
Oh.
I'll share it with everybody
That's
after the
cool.
show. But this is just broke just today, just about a couple hours before the show. So pretty exciting. I hope
Sounds
all
so
this
cool.
stuff comes to fruition. Brian Volk-Weiss is a showman. He gets out there and he starts talking, right? And then he runs into all these problems with, the issues with the shipping and things coming from China. I mean, it's been delayed. So for me, it's just building up anticipation. I'm excited about it. I wish I had the space for a bridge like that, Brian. Oh my God. If Uncle Jim ever starts paying us, maybe I'll move into a bigger house. I don't know. But until that, I don't know what to tell you. But it's pretty exciting. And he's definitely bringing a lot of fresh enthusiasm to Star Trek collecting. But enough of my yak, and let's move on to Eric, who I think there's a captain you're fond of. I just can't remember which one.
Yeah, maybe. Yes. Well, Paul, we have a very exciting story here that I'm happy to read, and I love that picture that we're seeing right now. Kate Mulgrew and Holly Hunter just chilling with one another. Kate Mulgrew defends Starfleet Academy and Captain Ake from disrespectful online attacks. Star Trek Starfleet Academy has certainly
Wait,
ignited a
stop,
lot of
Eric.
discussion amongst.
Eric, wait a second. Wait. Are there disrespectful Star Trek fans that are attacking people on social media? No. Say it isn't so. I don't believe that. Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
believe it or not, Jim. Believe it or not, I know
I
it's
don't
hard
believe it.
hard to
No.
believe. But the good news is that a lot of us just kind of move on. I think it was Paul who was saying that or something. Somebody was saying how Star Trek just sort of moves on, and that's what Kate Mulgrew is saying
Yeah, a
here.
bunch of stormtroopers would say move along, so
Move along. Move along.
Wow, that was a weird left turn there, David. All right.
Yeah.
Star Trek Starfleet Academy has certainly ignited a lot of discussion amongst fans and critics. Holly Hunter's Captain Ake has been one of the active topics, especially her quirky ways, like the way she sits in that chair, and the Oscar winning actress's unique style of delivery. One such online critic found himself getting a clap back when he invoked Star Trek's first female captain from Kate Mulgrew herself. In a Facebook comment thread, one user jumped in with a crude critique referring to Captain Ake as Captain Mumbles and suggesting Captain Janeway should, I hate to even say this, should bitch slap her? What? Well, this didn't go over well with the actress who played Janeway. Kate Mulgrew herself, with her verified account, jumped in with a message. On the contrary, sending you and every other disrespectful troglodyte who insults my fellow captain and Starfleet officers to the brig where you belong. Keep Janeway's good name out of it. Holy shit, that woman can throw down. She signed off with a bit of stern Janeway-esque dismissed. Mulgrew knows a thing or two about what it's like for an actress to coming under criticism after taking on a role of a Starfleet captain, right? She faced a lot of heat back in the day when she was having none of it. She was seen conferring and posing with Holly Hunter in this photo that we're showing right now on the blue carpet at the premiere event and again in the theater where the screening was. So it's no surprise that she would step up to defend Hunter and, of course, by proxy, Captain Ake. Holly Hunter's distinct style of speaking is primarily due to hearing loss in her left ear after a childhood case of the mumps, something she has overcome through her celebrated and award-winning career. As for the way Captain Ake lounges in the captain's chair of the USS Athena, the actress says, initially, it did come from the image of water, that I wanted her to be kind of a fluid character. I wanted to have a kind of feline thing in the physical world. As for Ake liking to go barefoot, Hunter said that was, quote, something that Alex Kurtzman had put in the script that I just loved, and it kind of snowballed from there. When I got on set, I saw how adventurous the furniture could be for me. That's a great article that kind of like spans both the Kate Mulgrew, like, stop being such a misogynistic jerk kind of like commentary, and also Holly Hunter getting a chance to comment on Ake. I personally love her kind of like mellow style. I feel like if you were the chancellor of a school that was being restarted after 150 years, girl, you better be flexible, because if you are not, you are just going to get run over by these kids. So her style is perfect for me for this series. So, great
I just
article.
say that I love Holly Hunter. I love what she brings to the role, and even the fish scene when she started talking British. Uh, this woman can bring it,
She sounds really good.
and
And Jim,
you know,
let me just say that like also the thing that really struck me about this was I wasn't even aware that people were making fun of the way that she talked until I read this article. And to me, that's like the lowest of the low. Like you're going to evaluate a series based on the way that somebody like speaks their lines because you don't like the way their mouth looks or the way that they, you know, have a little tiny bit of a lisp or something. Like, come on, guys. That's not very idic at all.
well, it's like what what the hell? Gay Klingons, give me a break. We already talked about that, but I love Holly Hunter. I think she can act with a look. Just the way she looks, just the way she crinkles her mouth. I mean, she is an incredible actress, and we are very fortunate to have her. I would love to see her and Michelle Yeoh in a scene together. I think they could really chew up the scenery together.
You know, one
You
thing
know?
I really like about her is that she's like this very tiny person, and in scenes you kind of they're allowing us to see what a tiny amount of space she takes up, and yet her personality and the gravitas that she brings to a scene is so much bigger than her physical manifestation in the scene. I love that about her. Every time she looks up at somebody, like when she looks up at Caleb. I mean, I don't know how tall Caleb is, but he's got to be like 6'2" or taller. When she's looking up at him, she's literally like looking vertically.
Yeah, there's a picture of her with Jaden from episode 4, I think it was, and yeah, she's literally. It looks like he's on a ladder and she's staring up at him. She's a very dainty, petite little thing, but I have a feeling she could put you in your place in a heartbeat. Oh, I think that the casting was incredible for Starfleet Academy, and I think she's awesome. And Kate Mulgrew is incredibly awesome. I mean, yeah. So, guys, uh, that's pretty much wraps it up for this week. So, like I said, next week we're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be a Fast and Furious podcast for sure. And you want to join us on Monday the 2nd. And I guess that's pretty much it, unless anyone wants to add anything or throw something in it that we missed during the show. Yes, no, maybe, kind of, sort of. No?
No,
Okay.
I think we're good.
All
I
right.
think we're covered.
Well, with that, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much to Paul for hanging out and Trek talking with us tonight and sharing his enthusiasm for Star Trek toys.
Yeah,
Thank you, Paul.
and just really, it's really great to have. I'm just so pleased with Starfleet Academy. It's just really fun to be able to get together and talk about it each week as each new episode comes out. I think it's gonna, have a good life. It's fun to share it all and react to it and compare notes. Really enjoying it.
I'm right there with you, Paul. Right there with you. I haven't had this much fun talking Star Trek probably since Discovery Season 1 when we first saw Star Trek. And of course, thank you so much to Eric for hanging out and Trek talking with us as well. Thank you so much, Eric.
Yeah, for sure. So happy that the joy is back, the optimism is back. I love following the exploits of these younglings right now.
Young
It's really
ladies.
fun.
I like that crossover there, the young
Yeah.
ladies. And of course, we want to say thank you to David for the awesome videos that we've been seeing and his behind the scenes wizardry. He is, after all, our miracle worker. Thank you, David.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I'm excited to continue and see what else Star Trek and Beyond brings with the videos and all the other stuff I can put together for all your viewers.
Well, I do want to. I will let you guys in on a little something. We only have 4 episodes of Starfleet Academy left, and then we're going to be in the Beyond again. And one of the show ideas I've been kicking around, which I think will be a lot of fun, is I want to do interviews with the Treksperts. Why we're here, why we, what brought us to Star Trek, and we'll start off the first show with me as a special guest star, and you guys can interview me. And then we got to bring
Be
up
like, so Jim,
some
what's the deal with Star Trek Five?
and
Yeah, is it Tourette's? What is it?
50
I mean,
minutes later, him is
there's a Star Trek 5. There was a fifth movie, really? And I think we'll move on. We'll do Charles, then we'll do Eric, and then we'll do David, and then we'll do Paul. And Paul, we'll save Paul for last because he can give us a tour of this incredible toy factory
Forgot
that
about V.
I've heard so much about. So, and yeah, we'll have some fun with that. All right, guys, and we want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much to Charles for hanging out and talking with us as well. Thank you so much, Charles.
Oh, always a blast. Birthdays was fun this week.
Yeah, I try to pick birthdays that I think you guys will enjoy. I want to kind of keep it to 6 and keep it to ones that I think you guys will like. And now that we're moving beyond, I can include Star Wars, Doctor Who, that kind of stuff. So I hope you guys are liking that as well. Please head over to trektalking.com and leave us a message. If you like the way our Star Trek, our sci-fi birthdays are, that we're going a little bit beyond, please leave us a message and let us know what you think. It's really easy. trektalking.com. Click on the little microphone, and I think it's 2 minutes and 10 seconds that you have to leave a message. So please take advantage of that.
talk fast.
Without any further ado, guys, I'm your most excellent host, Uncle Jim, and I got to tell you, they're already starting to close schools here in Vermont. The school that I work at already is doing early dismissal tomorrow because of the snowstorm. So we'll see what happens when I wake up in the morning. The joys of living in Vermont. Anyways, please, everybody, stay safe and be good to each other. Hailing frequencies are closed. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
well.
Good night, people. Nanu, nanu.
Mr. Sulu, ahead warp 1.
Warp 1, sir.
Heading, sir?
Out there. That away.
And that's
Nice
it,
clip.
guys.